God bless football. Chris Cote?
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Stugotz?
Why are you asking Mikey A? Like, Mikey A is a staple to the show. You are not. That's why I did it that way.
You said it to me with a question mark.
Right.
I thought that's just how we pass the buck along here.
That
You're
is
not Billy.
Right.
I'm not Billy.
Billy is he's in jury duty.
That can't be true.
He's been summoned to jury duty, and you guys were talking right before we came on the air that you would not want Billy to be someone who was, if you were in trouble and in court, you would not want Billy to be a part of the jury. Is that fair?
Usually when I look at somebody, I can tell whether you're someone who would love jury duty or would love to get out of jury duty. And Billy is in this weird space where I don't know. Is he someone who loves jury duty or is he trying to get out of this thing?
I'm not certain.
I don't know that I don't want Billy on my jury. The question is, if I did it, if the evidence is overwhelming against me, I want Billy there because he's going to poke and prod to find a way to be a contrarian.
He would ask a lot of questions, but just not helpful for the case.
So if it's a slam dunk that you're guilty, Mikey, you're telling me Billy's going to find a way for you to be innocent? That's not what you want out of a juror? I mean, what is that?
Why not? I'm trying to get off here.
So how does this show work? You just talk a bunch of football? This sounds amazing.
Yeah, we talk about football. That's what we do.
God bless it.
Yeah, God bless football. Lucy's going to join us to talk some college football because college football, the second the NFL kicks off on Sunday, you have an epic game, Washington and Oregon. It gets buried. Yeah. It's done. By Monday, college football has been flushed out of your system.
Probably a better slate than NFL because we had some fun with the NFL yesterday. But in terms of marquee matchups, there wasn't a lot to offer yesterday. I mean, Nance was calling Patriots at Raiders.
I know. It's sad. And we'll get to Belichick because Belichick's done. I'm calling it right now.
We're here.
Belichick is done, but we will get to that in just a second, okay? Because you're right about that, Chris. You had the big game, Oregon and Washington, a classic game in college football.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that with Lucy. But in the NFL, you did have a few major upsets yesterday.
Yes.
You had the Jets beating the Eagles. You had the Browns beating the 49ers. It was a great day in terms of NFL football. Well, yesterday was a great day.
I mean, those two teams specifically just winning with just terrible offenses.
Right.
Like, I know it's obvious at this point, but the Jets and Browns defenses, it's all the Dolphins have to worry about at this point. I mean, we were just talking off air how all the good AFC temes are there's some holes you can poke in almost every AFC team, but the Jets and Browns defenses are crazy.
Yeah, they're really good. How'd you feel as a Dolphins fan? I would say that you care about the Dolphins more than anyone on our show.
I appreciate that. I mean, especially on air. We do have a bunch of diehards behind the scenes.
Right.
But on air, I would agree with you. They're my team. Every Dolphins fan today is doing the wasn't worried down in 14-0 thing.
Yeah, I'm calling BS on that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to sit here and I wasn't worried, Mikey A. Were you worried for me? Down 14-0?
No, I wasn't worried for you.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried for you at all. Just like I wasn't worried when the Jets were down 14-3. I was like, we got this.
Can you put that on a poll? Were you worried for Chris when the Dolphins were down 14-0 in the first quarter to Carolina?
I was. The only thing that made me a little worried, did you see the play the Dolphins had on 3rd and 1 early in that game? They tried to get too cute. They tried to throw the ball backwards.
Right.
It was 3rd and short. You just run the ball. It's actually, if there is a weakness for this Dolphins team, it's short yardages. Like they don't really. Maybe Jeff Wilson can come back and help. Look at me breaking down Dolphins running back.
Yeah. It's God bless football.
Sorry. Sometimes I feel weird.
We talk about football. It's
getting
okay.
in the nuts and bolts.
Right.
But that play was just one of the worst plays ever. But overall, I mean, yeah, dude, what can I say? This Dolphins team, what stat can I read to you? I have millions of stats here that are just saying how great this Dolphins offense is.
Okay, we'll get to them. Just hold on a second, though. You were not nervous. Like 14-0, it's Carolina. You're not. Thielen's having a game. You're not nervous.
I looked at them live to bet them, and they were still minus 190.
Right.
Down 14-0. I was like, it's not even juicy enough for me to take. I wanted to jump in because I still felt like they were going to win, but the number, Vegas was still telling you down 14-0. This is a huge favorite in this game.
All right, so you're confident.
Chris.
Right. Go ahead, Mike.
Chris, not for nothing, against the Panthers, that's when you try the cute things. That's where you try, hey, let's see if we can't throw it back and then throw it right.
It is true.
And then throw it down the field. That's when you do it. But you don't do it against the Chiefs.
I feel like you want to save that stuff for like the Germany game or the Eagles. Like, why are we busting out this trick play? Now, it didn't even work. So now it was whatever, man. I'm nitpicking. It's got to the point where there's nothing bad to say about this Dolphins team, so I'm just like reaching at straws for something negative.
I could say the most positive thing about the Dolphins, this is someone who is not a Dolphin fan, okay? I'm a Jets fan. We'll get to them in a second, okay? But I had my biggest bet yesterday was on the Dolphins.
Yes.
The Dolphins at home have been money all season.
Yeah.
They blow teams out at home. And I am telling you, down 14-0. And I had the Dolphins minus 13.5. I bought it down from 14. Well, I didn't need it. I know.
But it always makes you feel good when you buy down that hook.
Mikey A, I can tell you, I was not nervous for a single second. Even watching them go down 14-0 and really being down 27.5-0 on my bet, I was not nervous at all.
That's wild.
And that's insane. That
See?
Is when you have a good football team.
You're flying by the Dolphins fans who weren't worried about winning the game. You weren't worried about covering your bet down 14-0.
I was down 27.5-0, and I was not sweating it at all.
To your point, the Dolphins are on their best home stretch. 17 games. They're 15-2 the last 2 years.
Right.
Where does that come from? Where does this all come from?
I don't know. Well, Tua and McDaniel.
Diehards like you, Chris.
Yeah.
This is just
home field advantage.
Dude, because this is, if you look at this team, the offensive stats, we've seen some good offenses in years past. The Cowboys have had good offenses, but the Dolphins are leading in rushing and passing. I crunched the numbers on this, Stugotz.
Yeah. Well, hold on a second, because usually when Billy perks up, Mikey A and I know this, we go to Billy. Because it means he's interested in something. Yeah. It means he's hot on something. It's never stats. Yeah. And it's certainly never Dolphin stats. Yeah. This is weird, Mikey A, to have someone who cares about football in here. I mean,
I know. It's crazy.
Because all Billy cares about is sending us shit. I mean, that's it.
I just wanted to look up like what other offenses have led the league in both. And there's never been. The Cowboys in recent years had like the second in passing, 9th in rushing.
Right.
The Cardinals with Kurt Warner, 2nd in passing, 8th in rushing.
Sure.
We haven't seen a team lead in both rushing and passing since like the 80s.
Right.
Like it's just the Dolphins are it's not like they're just the best offense. They're the best offense we've seen in decades.
No doubt.
It's just I don't know what I'm so happy.
You're so happy.
I didn't even think this was possible a couple years ago.
Do you have more stats for us?
I mean, I have the Dolphins. There's only 4 teams in NFL history that have accumulated 7,000 yards. It's only happened 4 times ever
through this point in the season.
Yes.
Right.
No, total. For the entire season.
For the entire season.
Dolphins and the Dolphins are on pace for 8,400 yards.
All right, Mikey.
If you're an NFL coach, if you're a football coach, what you want to do right now is you want to find some way to get low down on Mike McDaniel's staff, because it's going to be the Sean McVay treatment soon.
Yeah.
Anybody who had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay was getting a head coaching job.
Right.
Mike McDaniel's about to get the same treatment.
Wow. So how does that work? So you just find Mike, you
find Mike, you get a cup of coffee,
invite him for a cup of coffee, and you get a job.
You get a head coaching job.
It's amazing.
Oh man,
I think you're right.
It's just so good right now. It's just, and then Jalen Ramsey's ahead of schedule. I could go on forever.
Right. No, you're giddy, but this is all setting up too nicely for you.
It is.
I feel like
something has.
There's a crash coming. There's a crash coming.
Right.
There's a concussion in our future or something.
No, don't say that. Take it back.
I'm not saying.
Not to Tua. You didn't mean to Tua.
No, I'm just saying.
Somebody
there's
else,
injuries
right?
and just like I'm scared because this is too perfect right now. You don't want to peak in October.
How long have you been a Dolphin fan?
My entire life.
Is this the most excited you've been since you've
easy
since you've been a Dolphin fan?
By far.
This is the best team you've seen as a Dolphin
10
fan.
times.
Yeah.
The next best feeling I've had as a Dolphins fan.
Right, because, it feels like something's off a little bit in Buffalo. They, eke out a victory over the Giants. It feels like the AFC is really setting up nicely. And I'll tell you what, Chris, to me, this is what it feels like. If the Dolphins have home field advantage in the AFC play, if they're the 1 seed, no one's beating them. I don't care if it's Kansas City. I don't care who comes down to Miami to play this team. If they're playing you at home, they're going to beat you. I don't think they're going to lose a game at home this year. How about that?
I mean, see, you're this guy gets it. I said they wouldn't lose. I said they might not lose at home until Christmas. Remember I was mocked a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Remember a few weeks ago I was like, they won't lose on American. So they did lose to the Bills.
Right.
So that kind of went away.
Right.
But it's just, dude, yes. The answer to your question
is yes.
Yes.
I didn't ask a question.
I mean just the Dolphins. All the Dolphins fans in the control studio, they agree with me. They're just like, yes.
Do you guys agree? Yes. But I didn't ask a question. Do you guys agree? Hold on. Do you agree that I didn't ask a question? Yeah.
No.
Debatable, they're saying. Wow. know. Mikey, did I ask a question?
I don't remember a question. I was just into the whole football talk. I was excited.
I know. Listen, it's early evening, early afternoon. It's early.
And you know what I'm enjoying? You know what I'm enjoying more? Not more than this Dolphins thing is the Patriots just being terrible.
Right.
And once a week we get Belichick spiking something.
Yeah.
Give me it all. Put it in my veins.
I got to tell you, this is when you know it's over. When you are losing to Josh McDaniel and Brian Hoyer, and you're doing so in embarrassing fashion. And then here's the other thing. When your most loyal soldier, Teddy Brisky, is ripping you on a pregame show.
Did he do it?
He did.
Did he fire him?
He said Bill has made this all about Bill and not about the team. Brisky he's never said a bad word about Belichick. Ever. I was shocked. I had to rewind it to make sure it was true. I mean,
nothing put a smile on my face than when they were going for this, like the option style offense with this quarterback that's not a quarterback.
Right.
It's just so good.
How about that cover if you had the Raiders, which I did. Safety on the final play of the game.
Oh, my God.
That was great. I love Mac Jones. Don't you dare bench Mac Jones, Bill Belichick.
He's so weird. He just like Mac Jones is just like in, out, in, out. He has nothing. He has no answers right now, Bill Belichick.
His team stinks.
I know. It's great.
It's and that's on Belichick. I mean, it's on nobody else but Belichick. Seriously.
I know. Well, I mean, the Brady not being there doesn't help.
Well, that's on Belichick for running him out of town.
Well, he's old.
No, he ran him out of town. He won a Super Bowl after he ran him out of town, and then he drafted Mac Jones. All that's on Bill Belichick.
You got to have answers. You got to be ready. He wasn't ready for life after Brady.
Yeah, but I think the larger point is he never should have been in such a hurry to get rid of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They won a Super Bowl, Chris. The Bucs did. The Bucs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I see Belichick spiking a tablet in my dreams. It's what my dreams look like. What was it? Last week it was the challenge flag. They just spike something different every week. I love it so much.
All right, we'll talk college football with Lucy next. Chris, you know, the other thing I was thinking, I was thinking about you a lot yesterday.
Thank you.
Weird. You're welcome.
It's nice.
Well, I was.
I like being thought about.
I was thinking about you. Right.
I thought about you some during the Jets game.
You didn't think about me.
I was like 3-3. Not terrible. I was like,
really?
Stugotz gonna be doing the thing.
Right.
Got a shot.
We do have a shot. I mean, we're in the mix. Mikey, do you feel like we're in the mix, the Jets?
We are in the mix.
Yeah.
We're absolutely
by definition.
We're in the mix.
Why were you thinking about me?
I was thinking. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. I was thinking about you because you guys have the Eagles this weekend.
Yeah.
You being the Dolphins.
Biggie.
And so and now there's a little juice off of that game because, you know, the Jets beat the Eagles. And so I'm wondering.
Maybe the blueprint.
Oh, I think Chris wanted, Mikey, I think he wanted the Eagles all to himself. He wanted the Dolphins to be the team that, you know, handed Philadelphia their first loss of the year at Philadelphia, by the way. And now he's been stripped of that opportunity.
I was happy for Mercury Morris.
The Dolphins are cracking open the champagne very early in the season, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was thinking you wanted that game because now you have the Eagles coming off a loss, an angry, focused Eagles team, you know?
I just think that it's still a test for the Dolphins, whether the Eagles are 5-1 or 6-0. So I don't think I really wasn't living and dying by that. And they're not in our conference. If the Chiefs, I want to lose because of the conference schedule. So I wasn't really. I still think it's a test for the Dolphins because the Dolphins schedule. You could say what you want about how good the offense has been. Their record, the records of the teams they've beaten, not great so far. So outside of the Bills, who they lost to, they need to have an impressive win. So I'm excited for this, and I think that they can get it because who have the Eagles beat? Sound. Is that how we say it? Do you beat someone sound?
I don't know.
Who have they beat well? They've played it feels like even the teams they play that are bad, like the Jets, not to be a jerk, but it just seems like
you're being a jerk.
They play close games against everybody. So I'm just I feel like it's a good test for the Dolphins because I think they can go and pass the test.
The Eagles have beaten the Patriots. They have beaten the Vikings. They've beaten the Bucks. They've beaten the Commanders. They've beaten the Rams. You're right. And they lost to the Jets.
And it's a lot of close games. It's just the Eagles are good. I'm not disrespecting them. That offensive line is legit. We're going to get a real test for the defensive line because the Dolphins' defensive line has been solid. They've been getting sacks. So we'll see if they can do it against Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce, by the way. Yeah. Can I go on a little rant, a little Jason Kelce rant?
Please do. You're tired of him?
I'm a little tired of because everyone's doing the thing now where it's, I'm a Jason Kelce guy.
Yeah.
He's the one. Hey, as somebody who is as average, and give me this, people. I'm average looking, okay? I don't like it when people are condescending towards and build up an average looking person.
Right.
They're doing this thing with Jason Kelce now where they want to have the hot take of he's the one I like.
Right.
And it's like,
can I tell you, my wife is guilty of this.
You're being condescending.
Yes.
You're being condescending.
Tell my wife to shut up. Go ahead.
It's just like it's insincere. You're trying to do the trendy thing of being into the guy that nobody like. I like this guy because everyone likes the other one. I see. I'm on to you, people. All right.
No, say it to Abby. Just say it to her.
I like Jason Kelce as much as the next guy.
Right.
But he's being hyped up too much during all this Kelce stuff. Right. Both Kelces. You know what? I'm taking the hot take. I'm tired of all the Kelces.
Wow.
Most people are just tired of Travis. I'm tired of both of them.
Put it on the poll. You tired of the Kelces? Yeah. Well, now Donna Kelce, that's the one I'm most tired of.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
I mean, Stugotz can say it. I mean, he's not wrong. Look at me, Louie. Look at me, Luis.
Oh, God. I find my wife doing the same thing with Jason Kelce. He's a center.
Right.
He's a center.
And he's
likable.
Fine. Likable enough.
Oh, super likable. I love the guy.
But it's just people are just flying by, he's the one I would choose. It's like you're just saying that.
No, this is what happens when you put people all over the place, okay? And you never stop talking about it. It's going to I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. If it hasn't happened already to Pat McAfee, it's going to happen. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's what happened with Deion Sanders. Saturday Night Live. 60 Minutes went to see him. And now Saturday Night Live is doing sketches on Deion Sanders. It's like
Keenan, not a great impression of it, but it was still funny.
Yeah.
The writing was good on it. The impression could have been better.
Right.
Chris, to your point, do you know how insulting it is to be an offensive lineman, a big man with a beard, and everybody's talking about how attractive that one is?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Do you understand?
That's what I mean.
No.
It's condescending.
Because nobody's fawning over me here. I know that.
Right.
Exactly.
Everybody's, Jason Kelce. Yeah, I prefer. No, you don't.
It's too much.
I prefer Travis.
It's too much. Exactly. It's just they're flying by and they're just like, I'm on to you people. You don't all believe what you're saying right here.
Right. But fame does make you a little bit more attractive, does it not?
Sure.
Right.
And why do you think I do this show?
I was watching.
Not that kind of fame.
You know how
we have a weird type of fame, Mikey A.
I know our fame is weird. It's just a bunch of bros.
It is.
You know how whenever there's an offensive line that jumps, you know how that when there's an offensive lineman that jumps, you'll see 7 defensive linemen point.
Yeah, of course.
And they get the flag.
Right.
I think defenses should practice doing this when there's not a penalty on an offensive lineman. You just say, okay, this third down play, we're all going to, with 6 seconds left on the play clock, point at the right tackle. Because I feel like a referee who sees 7 defensive players point at a right tackle is just going to assume they're not going to assume that they planned this out. They're going to be like, oh my God, I must have missed something. Flag on the play. Boom. You can't review a penalty. I'm just saying, it's one of those things you bust out, you save it for the most important time of the season. But I think if it's executed perfectly, I think you could draw a penalty. I think you could fool these refs.
That's what Omaha means.
There you go.
Yell Omaha, and then everybody knows to point to the right tackle.
Let's do that today. At some point this week on the main Levitard show, can we just point to someone during the show randomly and scare them?
Sure.
If 7 people pointed to me in the middle of the show, I would just I would freak out.
I felt like 7 people have been pointing at me in the middle of a show. And all 7 are Levitard.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling.
It is weird.
What else got you in the NFL yesterday? It was kind of a low scoring day. It was an interesting day though because you had those 2 upsets. That was the. But you're right. There doesn't appear. Maybe it's the Dolphins. There doesn't appear to be a dominant team. Even the Chiefs are not as good as the Chiefs have been in years past.
I mean, I still think the Niners are good. The Eagles, we'll see on Sunday when the Dolphins play the Eagles. I think the interesting team that we're not talking about, the Lions, are that sneaky team right now.
They are.
The Bucks, I can't figure, like, that's a weird team, right? If there's just a team out there that it's like, are they good or was that a fraudulent start to their season? Like, are the Bucks actually good?
The Bucks are one of those teams.
Creamsicle, how do we feel about the Creamsicle jerseys?
I love those.
I love them in theory. Mm-hmm. I did not, something about them yesterday. They weren't sitting with me right. I was just like, no.
They weren't the original Creamsicles. They were a remake of the Creamsicles. You know, it wasn't the same.
There was less white.
It seemed a new version of them.
It seemed more plain looking. Like I needed some white in there to make the cream pop.
Right.
I want that cream to pop.
I'm looking it up right now.
Orange, not enough orange creamsicle.
Yeah. Man, do I love a creamsicle too.
Do you really?
Oh, I do. Like the treat.
Those are your favorites?
I
go toasted almond, chocolate eclair. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Shortcake.
Right.
It's just it brings me back. Strawberry shortcake. Yeah, that's the one. I would say that's my favorite. If we're talking like ice cream truck style, like ice cream.
Good humor pops. Yes. Yeah.
I go strawberry shortcake.
I go toasted almond.
Creamsicle is like when I was like, it brings me back to a time. Creamsicle brings me back to when I was 6. Like I wouldn't probably eat one nowadays, but it just brings me back to a time.
Mikey, I'm gonna blow your mind. You know they don't have toasted almonds down here. They don't.
They don't make them anymore.
What do you mean?
They don't make like good.
Tell me it's not true.
Making toasted almonds.
No, I refuse to believe that.
You don't think I'm on the blogs every day when it comes to this stuff? I am there. I am in the trenches.
Really?
No, they stopped making them and they apologized for it.
Why? Like, what was the reason?
Because I assume they'll bring them back in 3 years and charge an extra $5 for them.
I'll buy all of them. I mean,
limited edition.
They can mark them up even more if they want. I'll still buy them.
Has Darius Slayton been a Giant for 40 years?
Yes.
I mean, that's just all that guy. I was like that. I feel like I was in high school and that guy was a Giant.
He played with Amani Toomer.
I also, I was.
Why'd you just point at him?
I mean, it's just a good draw. It's just a good name. It's a good name drop.
But only if you jump off sides, we pointed him. That's what we just decided.
Did anybody else during the NBC broadcast preview, the pregame? I'm like kind of in my kitchen, half listening to the pregame, and they're like, Taylor is starting tonight, and I was like, wow, they're taking this Taylor Swift thing a little too far. I was like, I get it, NBC, that you want, but it just then I had the visual of Taylor Swift starting at quarterback for the Giants last night.
Better than Daniel Jones.
That would have got some ratings.
No doubt.
Speaking of Taylor Swift.
So Tyrod Taylor threw you off?
Yeah. I was just like, Taylor starting at quarterback tonight. I'm like, this has gone too far.
Right.
If they were really serious, she would have been at the Jet game with Travis Kelce, not just showing up when she's in her box. She would have been at the Jet game because Travis was there.
Wasn't Travis at the Jets game?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, she wasn't there.
She should have been there with him.
Yeah.
She was at the Chiefs game Thursday night. She was not at the Jet game with Travis watching her brother watching his brother Jason play.
The real winner.
So she's not fully committed, Mike, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm trying to say.
She's only committed when it's convenient for Taylor. Right.
Another winner in all of this. We were talking Jason Kelce, big winner in all of this. Patrick Mahomes' wife getting to sit next to Taylor during these past games, getting to dance with her. I'm seeing clips. It's just, I think she needed a little PR help, like people the internet had gotten on her and the brother in the past. So I just feel like this is all good for Patrick Mahomes' wife because she wasn't the most popular on the internet. And I think this Taylor connection is really helping her.
But you're not tired of her yet.
No. She's instantly more likable to me sitting next to Taylor.
But all the Kelces you're tired of.
I'm tired. No. See, I'm not tired of Jason Kelce. I'm tired of how everyone is patronizing Jason Kelce and being condescending to his, trying to he's the one I'm attracted to. It's like, don't do that.
Right.
I'm on to you people.
Right. Abby, my wife.
Yeah. She's full of it. She's just zagging.
She's got terrible taste.
She's zagging when everyone zigs.
Why? Because it should be Travis.
Because everyone's going Travis, and the people want to be like, that's the one I like.
Yeah, but Jason, they took different paths. Jason, Travis he's single. He's living his best life. He's doing what,
and they just have two different vibes. Like Travis is hip.
I understand.
Travis is hip,
right?
And the other one is just more everyman.
But I understand why my wife loves Jason. He's a father. He's a good father. Yeah. He seems like a great husband. He's a great person. He seems like a loyal person. Like, I get all that. You're getting mad at people for liking the nice one?
The Kelces do this thing that the Cotes have been doing for years in their podcast.
Oh, really?
I have my daughter come up to the podcast thing and talk to my dad, and it's as adorable as our podcast gets.
Right.
It doesn't get the traction that the Kelces get.
Right.
But I'm telling you, we've been doing that move of bring my kid over, have a cute moment with grandpa. Because that's as likable as Travis gets is when he's talking to his niece.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
Uncle Trav.
Ah, Travie. Come say hi to Uncle Travie. Oh, I melt. I melt when it happens.
Are you tired of the kids yet? Or
you said it.
I asked you. No, now I ask you a question.
That's a question.
And you don't want to answer.
I'm not ripping kids. But yeah, come on, get your own podcast.
Oh, they'll have one. And it will be bigger than ours.
God bless football.
Tay-Tay.
We found Lucy. She's with us. We'll talk some college football because it gets buried the second the NFL starts every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Weird. Lucy, I want you to share with the audience what you just shared with us about the Oregon game being on at the same time as the Iowa game. Please share your thoughts with the audience.
Oregon-Washington was an amazing game.
Oh, great.
Depending on who you are, Iowa-Wisconsin may have also been an amazing game, but they happened at the exact same time, and they should not be considered the same sport, and they should not be in the same conference at all.
That under, though. Oh,
Every
Lucy,
time, Chris.
Lucy.
Every single time. No team is more loved by gamblers than the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Wait, so how many picks has Lucy given you this year?
Oh, dozens.
Really?
And she's well above 500. I mean, I think last week was like her first.
Last week was really bad.
That was like the only week she didn't crush it, though. This week she had a winning record. Before that, I think we were like 9-4 for the year. She's just well above profit so far. And it is every week. She kind of like,
What happened? Phlegm?
She puts a caveat on it every week. She's always like, please.
This is what football does to you.
She goes, if you'd like to do this to yourself, the Iowa under is there for you. And I take it every week, and it's always a joy.
Okay, so she's well above 500. Wait, but you're well above 500. Do you take the Iowa under every single week?
Every single week.
Yeah.
Wisconsin is a gimme. You can give me... Right now, I would put money on the under to hit for the next 5 years against Wisconsin. I don't need to know anything about those teams. I would absolutely take that. I believe it's Iowa, Minnesota this week.
Right.
That's another game. Okay. Every remaining game on the Iowa schedule, I will be hammering the under.
She had me on North Carolina -3, betting against my local hometown team here, but hey,
nice.
It hit, baby.
All right, we'll get to Lucy or Goosey in just a second here because Carolina may or may not be one of the teams that I ask her about this week. Where are you right now, though, Lucy?
I am actually back in Iowa. I am in Coralville. We were out here for the Iowa women's basketball team. They played a game in the football stadium. 55,000 people showed up, and it broke a record. It was unbelievably awesome. It's one of the coolest events I've ever been to.
Nice. 55,000, huh?
Yeah, there've never been that many people ever at a women's basketball game, and it was amazing. Obviously, Caitlin was great. The crowd was awesome. It was just an exhibition game, but it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
And Thursday, you were at the Friday, you were at the Colorado game?
Well, yeah, for the first half. Yeah. I may have made a crucial error.
Yeah.
And left early.
Yes.
Obviously, wasn't planning on Stanford coming back and winning.
No one was, right?
So it went kind of bad for me.
Yeah.
But that's my own fault. No excuses. That's on me.
Listen, I'm going to get you off the hook right now because I left early. Do you remember the Heat won a second NBA championship against the Spurs?
Yes.
And Ray Allen hit the shot? I left before the shot, Lucy. I left before overtime. I left before regulation was over.
Everyone's been calling me Lou Gotts all weekend.
Now you know why.
Did you try to get back in? Did you try to break back in like Stugotz did?
No. So here's the thing. I did not try to break back in because I knew the ticket policy. I knew they were not letting me back in. Everyone else tried to break back in. So I was walking against the grain because everyone heard a roar from the arena and started to run back in. And I kept telling people as they passed me, you're not getting back in.
Good.
You're not getting back in. You're not getting back in. And none of them got back in. I mean, I got to my parking spot, which was a great spot right on Biscayne. I got home. I watched the game. I taped it, But I regret missing that. But, Lucy, I did tell you. I told you this would happen. We discussed this. They built up Dion so much that 60 Minutes goes out there. They do a piece on Dion. Great. The second they stumble, I told you people were going to come down on Dion. He went from 60 Minutes to Saturday Night Live doing a sketch on him. I told you, we built him up too much, Lucy. You know that.
No, 100%. I mean, we talked about it then. Like, I still want to give Dion credit because Colorado was better than I thought. And something that kind of took me by surprise going to that game. I had never been to a Colorado game. I'd actually never been to a Pac-12 game before. And the atmosphere there, like, truthfully wasn't great. Like, there were 55,000 people there. They sold out the stadium, but it was a tough sell. Like, it didn't have the football tradition that I've seen going to SEC games, the Big Ten games. So for him to get world-class athletes there is incredibly impressive, and they've already exceeded my expectations for this year. But he was never Nick Saban this season. Colorado was never someone worth betting to win the national championship, which so many people did. It was one of those moments where people, like, they dove in head first, and it was like, you need to wait a second. This is a dip your toe in type of situation. It's going to be a rough year for Colorado. And that Stanford game, I did get to see the second half. I watched it. Just not in person.
Right.
You say SNL like it's a bad thing. Like that's when you jump the shark. That's just like he's on the rise still to me.
Yeah.
When I see SNL, that is just like you're popular.
Right.
Is what that says.
Are you doing the whole like Zion shoe thing? Like any publicity is good publicity?
I'm just saying, I don't look at him being spoofed on SNL as like, it's over the hill now. To me, that's just the star is still rising. SNL.
I think I agree with you. I think it's more of, when I said, like, don't jump in on Colorado. Like, if you want to be all in on Deion, that's totally fine. And his star power is going to continue to grow. It doesn't matter if Colorado loses every game the rest of the season. He's on every commercial during every college football Saturday. Like, he is going to continue to grow and rise. And as Colorado will inevitably improve, it will happen. But for people to come in and say, year one, he was going to be the best, coach of all time and all these things, it was a little ridiculous. And I think Dan said pretty much all of those things.
They were making fun of how he can sound ridiculous sometimes.
Yes.
Like about just no matter, even if they're losing.
Oh, listen, I love Deion. Like what he's done during these losses is better than what he's done during the wins. Like the way he treats his kids, the lessons that he's teaching his kids off the field, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like he's a great guy. I'm just saying I'm not blaming Deion. It has nothing to do with Deion.
Kind of like me with Jason Kelce.
Yeah,
it's not Kelce I'm mad at.
No.
It's the people's reaction.
Like Lucy said, the media, mostly Dan, built him up so much, and now we're taking him down. And that's unfortunate. I'm not certain we should be doing that this early.
Yeah, maybe I left early in protest of Dan. People don't bring that point up.
It's a fair point. All right, are you ready for Lucy or Goosey? Are you ready?
Exciting. I am. I'm in a hotel, so I don't have anything to hold up. So I'll do L for Lucy. It sort of looks like a G.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, very clever.
This is fun.
Okay. Here we go. I just got a few for you. Carolina. North Carolina beat the Canes. They're undefeated. That team looks really good. The defense looked really good. North Carolina, Lucy or Goosey?
I'm going to go Lucy on this one because I was not super sold on Carolina. The only win I was impressed by was App State, and I think they still kept it a little too close against a very good App State team. The reason I'm going Lucy on this is I watched that Miami game. I was so impressed by their defense. Drake May looks pretty bad in the first half, and Carolina's defense was what kept them in that first half of the game, and that has not been the case. Carolina, for the past few years, has been the reverse Iowa, where their offense is amazing and their defense is like a crime against humanity. They're vastly improved this season. Carolina's very good, but they do have Duke remaining on their schedule. They'll get somebody probably tough in the ACC championship game. I'm excited for this Carolina team, though. They are good.
All right. Let's go to Alabama here. One loss. That loss came a few weeks back. They went back to Milroe as their quarterback. He's played well. Alabama, one loss. Lucy or Goosey?
I'm going to go Lucy. I talked about what the issue with Alabama was a few weeks ago. I think Jalen Milroe is fine. I think every once in a while he'll have a crazy overthrown ball to a receiver where you're like, oh my God. And then the next play is the pass of his life.
Right.
He's a freshman. There's going to be growing pains. There's going to be adjustments. The only thing that still concerns me is the Alabama offensive line. They've got a guy on there who is committed to Iowa and didn't go. He's a turnstile right now. And I watched the Arkansas game. They had 3 sacks in the first half given up against them. Alabama is not protecting Milroe whatsoever. And they're just lucky that right now they're in a year where the SEC West and the SEC isn't as tough as it is because they have a major glaring obvious weakness, and it is that offensive line. Everything else they're great at.
All right, let's go to Oregon. I know they lost this weekend. I know you're Lucy on Washington in the top 4. They all rolled this weekend, so I don't need to ask you about those. But Oregon lost. I think both those teams, for me, they're 2 of the 4 best teams I've seen in the country this year. Both teams should be in the college football playoff. I don't know if that's the case, but Lucy or Goosey on Oregon?
I got to go Lucy on this one. I know Oregon lost. They lost because of a missed kick. I wouldn't even say they lost because of a missed kick. I'd say they lost because of some coaching errors. That Dan Lanning was more aggressive in spots where he should have been playing it a little safe and not aggressive enough in spots he was playing it safe. Oregon is a phenomenal team. I think that if that game were played in Eugene, Oregon would have won that game. Their defense looks good. Bo Nix is amazing. Those were two phenomenal football teams, and I'm hoping, and I don't think it's going to happen because the Pac-12 is right now about to enter the thick of their schedule where everyone will cannibalize each other. But I hope we get lucky enough to have Oregon, Washington in the Pac-12 championship game.
Lucy or Goosey, Desmond Howard chanting "Big Penix energy" on College Game Day.
I'm going to go.
He changed the pronunciation.
To what, Chris?
To Penix.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hard Goosey. The G looked weird. Hard Goosey on that. What?
Yeah.
That is the Pat McAfee of full effect taking over College Game Day. Desmond Howard would have never done that 2 years ago.
He would have never done that, and to do that with Lee Corso right there. Could you do that in front of your grandparents?
And it was just like the crowd was just like not behind it. Just he's gonna bring that big Penix energy. He's gonna bring that big Penix energy. And then he just like kept dancing and then it was just like awkward. And then
What was Corso doing?
And it was just I wasn't looking because I was cringing.
You are.
It was hard to watch.
It's hard to look when you cringe. You're right. I'm thinking about it. So you're Goosey on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very Goosey.
Okay.
Just Goosey on all of College Game Day.
Penix Jr. won the Heisman Trophy. Yeah.
Penix.
Sorry, Penix. He won the Heisman Trophy. He won the Heisman, right?
Nah.
There are Heisman moments. He had his Heisman moment, right?
He absolutely did. Caleb Williams against Notre Dame this weekend looked absolutely terrible. So as you know, Michael Penix Jr. rose, Caleb Williams fell, which helps his case. I think it was really important for anybody who had been watching Washington football this year knew what he was capable of, knew what he was doing. But people don't watch Washington football because they're late games. They're on the West Coast. They're sometimes televised on a network you can't find. So now that it was a national stage against a great team that everybody watched, feels like he's the clear Heisman favorite, and there's really not even someone else you want to throw into the conversation right now that's not him.
All right, we have 30 seconds here. Last one. Oregon State, Lucy or Goosey?
Oregon State is interesting.
It's a tough one.
I think they're a good team, but I'm going Goosey not because they're a bad team, but because they are in a conference that is simply going to be impossible. If Oregon State were playing in the Big 12, I know they wish that was the case, they would win that conference. But right now, you share a state with Oregon. You have Washington State, Washington. You have the most insane, difficult teams around you. That Oregon State is a very good team. They don't have a ton of talent, but they recruit in a way that they know what works for them. They get what they need. It's not the 5-star, but it's a real developmental program. It's just not going to be enough against these teams that have so much talent, are just light years ahead of everyone.
Time.
Anyone in any conference.
You just timed her. It was timed like 12 seconds ago. Lucy, we love you. We will talk to you later this week and, of course, next week right here on God Bless Football.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Mikey A, how do we explain to Chris Cote here, who's done a great job filling in for Billy? Billy's
fantastic.
Yes, he has jury duty. How do we explain, and we all agree that we do not want Billy. Well, no, we do want Billy on the jury. Well, we're not certain.
The jury's out.
Depends if you did it or not.
Hey. Well, look at you.
I'll be here. I'll be here today.
Yeah.
All right.
But you're sharp early in the afternoon, my friend. I got to tell you.
This early evening.
Oh, I love it.
What does Billy do here with the bets? I have no idea. Billy's big board something, Mikey. Yeah, explain it to Chris, because the audience has grown to love Billy doing this. And now Chris has the responsibility of providing them with 3 picks on tonight's game.
Yeah, so it's Billy's Best Bets Big Boards, brought to you by, and then we got to find that sponsor. You got to insert a sponsor here.
Right.
This is,
and then you're going to give.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's just,
You're going to give 3 picks for tonight's game.
Yeah.
That starts in a few hours.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Now,
And
Billy's
we
big
will all bet them.
Billy's big bet
because you're-
board is going to be called this week Chris's can't miss conception.
Really?
I don't know, just was trying to do a CCC
Yeah, but
thing.
could you think of a good name?
Just can't miss.
Yeah.
come check out these conceptions by Chris.
Okay. All right.
Kirsten likes it.
That
All
works. Okay.
All right. The first bet.
Copyright.
Right. But you don't have a big board or anything, do you?
No,
A dry
it's just
erase board? Or?
It's a big screen.
Right.
I have a computer because it's C.
Right.
A computer.
Uh-huh.
All right. Michael Gallup, under 3.5 receptions.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Not a big Gallup guy. He's going to be more walking. More like Michael Walk. No? All right.
No, just let the bad joke sit there, Mikey A. Let it sit there. I mean, my God.
The second pick in Chris's cool conceptions on his computer, Eckler, over 13.5 longest rush.
Wow, I like that. Eckler told us last week he's 99% certain he will play tonight.
Well,
so
I hope that's 100.
And he will join us tomorrow after the game.
No injury designation on the fantasy apps.
Okay.
That's how I judge it.
All right, so you have Eckler over 13.5 yards rushing.
And the final
That's
pick,
one rush, by the way, right?
his longest of the night will be over
Okay.
13.5.
All right.
The third pick on Chris's cool conceptions on his computer.
Brought to you by. Yes.
Cool. Kool-Aid.
Yep.
All right. It starts with a K. CeeDee Lamb to score it because I was trying to find C
I got
things.
it,
And
yeah.
it's, all right. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb to score a touchdown.
All
Book
right.
it. Michael Gallup, under 3.5 receptions. Eckler to rush over 13.5 yards, his longest rush. CeeDee Lamb to score a touchdown. Book it.
All right, that should be the name of the segment. Book it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good segment right
Yep.
Didn't we do that? Didn't we do that already?
there. We have?
We've done it all.
I've done it all.
We did a segment called Book It at one point.
Listen, when you have done this for as long as I've done it, okay, 20 some odd years,
done it
you've done
all.
every segment.
Yeah.
There is no new segment for me, okay?
Yeah.
Speaking of top 5 quarterbacks through week 6.
Let's go.
How about that?
That's why I'm here.
Is it week 6? I have no idea where we are. What week are we in, Mikey? 3 and 3,
6.
the Jets,
This is
right?
week
Week
6.
6. All right, here we go. Number 5, Jared Goff. I am with you, Chris. I think the Lions, if there's a team that is going to surprise either the Niners or the Eagles and bounce them out of the playoffs and find themselves in an NFC championship game, it's going to be the Lions. I'm not certain the Lions aren't the best, most complete NFL team in the league this year.
I'm looking at. I'm gonna try to look up some Super Bowl
They're
odds
good.
here. Let's
Yeah.
see where they're at.
Oh, the Lions are probably up there, which
Yeah.
I cannot believe I'm saying that in my lifetime, that the Lions would be one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, but they are.
They are. They're behind the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Eagles, and the Cowboys.
Right.
And the Bills are all ahead of them. So they're
Okay.
still like they're like 8th
All right.
on this list. So like they're good value there. I agree. Like if maybe the Jags too. I'm trying to look. If you're looking for value,
The Jags are a good play, too.
Jags and
Yeah.
Lions would be the
Yes.
value picks for Super Bowl winners.
We'll see what happens with Trevor Lawrence. I think he was injured. And I know he's getting looked at today, so we'll find out what happens with him. Number 4, a rookie has cracked the top 5. I love this kid. CJ Stroud.
Wow.
He's good.
A rookie.
Mikey A, he's good. I mean, Sims has never said things about a rookie quarterback that he said about CJ Stroud. He loves him. I love him. He's good. The Texans are pretty good.
I don't know. I'm not sold. I don't know if he's top 5. That's a bit
Just through
strong.
week 6.
Okay.
All right.
Just a little strong. Seems
right.
a little strong.
All right. Number 3, he plays tonight, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
He's good.
Do we add the sounder in post? Because without the sounder, these lists.
I blame Fuentes.
I blame Billy.
I could just do it.
Let's point fingers.
Yeah. It's definitely Kirsten's fault.
Whose fault is it? Can we take phone calls yet? I mean, that was
Yeah.
the whole reason Billy wanted to do this, was to take phone calls. We haven't taken a call through 6 weeks. Number 2, Kirk Cousins. There it is.
It just hits.
It feels better.
Oh,
Yes,
it does.
I know the Vikings are 2-4, but it's not Kirk's fault. I can tell you that he's having one of the great all-time seasons for a quarterback and a team that is 2-4.
There you go. That's a good little caveat there.
The day he retires, he starts just walking to Canton.
5
It's
years.
just gonna take him
Yes,
5 years.
it will take
just
him
to walk to
exactly
Canton.
5
That's
years
it.
to get there, and then he'll be in. You don't think so?
Nah,
have
I don't not
Cousins?
think so.
First ballot.
All right, number 1, Tua.
Oh.
Mikey, why are you getting mad? He's the best quarterback in football right now.
It's the joke that
I know.
gets me mad. It's
Sorry.
not necessarily
Really, that's the joke that got you mad, not the Gallup joke.
Carolina Panthers plus 50,000.
Chris is a guest. You know better.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I had to rewind, Mikey, towards the end of the Jet game when it was over. I had to rewind to make sure what I saw happened. Did you have this? I had to make sure. Did the Jets actually win this game? I had to rewind it. I wanted to make sure. They did, by the way. They won the game. I could not believe it. Mikey, is that the most shocked you have been as a Jet fan watching the Jets play? Because for me, it was. I could not believe we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I called my daughter.
Crying?
Yes.
Is that the best Jets win in a decade? Because it might be.
I mean, Monday Night Football, the open the season wasn't bad.
Yeah, but I mean,
against Buffalo
after Rodgers gets hurt.
Yeah, but Rodgers still got hurt, so that was sitting there.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That makes that win almost more impressive.
No, I know. I
what
understand
the game was supposed to be versus what happened.
Right.
I mean,
I understand.
That might be it.
Yeah.
I understand what Chris is saying. The first game, it was you had the punt return for a touchdown, walk off, overtime, beat the Bills.
They're clearly the two biggest wins in franchise history, though. Like we can
not in franchise history. They won a Super Bowl.
I mean, you guys are doing that here. It's just like, how big is this?
No, the most surprised.
Okay,
I was legitimately surprised. I did not expect us to beat.
Yeah,
Chris, they're undefeated.
I know. I mean, like I said earlier, though, they're kind of fraudulent undefeated team. If you really look at each game the Eagles have played, I know that the offensive line is, as Dan says, the best unit in all of football. But outside of that, they've been kind of beatable this year.
I guess
a lot of close games.
I guess there is no dominant team in the NFL. They're just.
I mean, there is. There's one.
Well, I mean,
and they're missing like 6 guys on defense.
Yeah, I know, but
we're not even close. We haven't even hit our stride yet. -4 in the turnover margin. We are
right.
Huh?
Yeah, but you lost to Buffalo.
Yeah, that's fine. Gotta lose sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good loss. You're saying? I do think the Dolphins are the best team in the NFL.
Dude, it's just that offense. Like, I don't even care if their defense. All their defense has to be is slightly above average, and they can win the Super Bowl if Tua is healthy.
Right
there, I said it. God, I love football. God bless football, Mikey A. Can we do it again? Can we just do it like in the middle, or do we do it at the end of the segment?
What?
Just tell each other God bless football again.
You can do it whenever
God
you want.
bless football,
God
Mikey
bless
A.
Yeah.
God bless football.
Yeah.
God bless football.
Doesn't work as well in the middle of the segment.
No, that's why we open with it. Yeah. You're the best.
What else do I have here?
Chris asked me, what do I have to do to be prepared for God bless football? Just watch football?
I was like, what do you need from me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Like,
all
what's the homework assignment here? Watch football?
Sometimes
Got
you
it.
don't even have to.
I'm on it.
What are you looking up now?
Just, I got notes. Just,
okay,
Did
share the
I
notes
get
with
to
us.
Big Penix Energy? Did I do that yet?
You did that, yes.
I love when Red Zone cuts away from like perspective.
Right.
Like I think it was the Patriots Raiders game where Jim Nantz is like a play happens and I just burped and he goes, I this reminds me of when they played 2 years ago. And then in the middle of the sentence, you just hear Scott Hansen go, "We go now to Commanders versus Cardinals," and it's just like
you wanted to hear the end of the sentence.
It was just a funny example of Red Zone having no time for any perspective. We don't give a shit. Just give me football plays. I was like, it was just a nice tapestry that Jim Nantz was weaving.
That's what he does.
And I was just like listening to it, and all of a sudden it's like, no time for this. I need Commanders and Cardinals just got in past 50-yard line.
But that's on you for watching the Red Zone. That's what the Red Zone is. That's their job. They're not interested in Jim Nantz's stories.
But can't we just
if you want to hear Jim Nantz's stories, watch Jim Nantz's telecast.
Can't the cuts be just a little less aggressive? Like they're just cutting him off mid-sentence. Like let him finish. I want to know what happened.
Get me to the Red Zone.
What happened 2 years ago when the Raiders played the Patriots? I'm curious. And it's just like, nope, Cardinals, Commanders. They just passed the 50-yard line. I need to see Josh Dobbs right now.
I have a Chris Cote observation I'll throw out there.
What's up?
How angry are you if you're a London NFL fan that Germany is getting Chiefs Dolphins and you got those garbage games? Like,
you got
we've
Jags
been doing
Bills
this for years.
Mikey, you got Jags Bills. That's a decent game.
Yeah.
I mean,
was it though?
Yeah.
No, but Germany's
It was a pretty terrible game.
Germany's killing it.
That
though.
Germany
They
game,
are,
though,
yes.
Yeah. Germany gets Dolphins Chiefs.
That is what a game, man. Put the kids to
Right?
Even though what time is the game at? Wake the kids up and
9:30 in the morning.
Put them down for an early nap.
Put them again to bed.
Wake them up especially early so they can have a weirdly early nap.
What time do your kids wake
Keep them
up?
up till 4 a.m.
Like 7 a.m.
So I think for that game, you got to wake them up at 5.
Yes.
So they're ready to nap by 9:30.
9 a.m. nap-a-roo. A little nappy poo.
You gonna do that?
My kid doesn't nap anymore.
You're not getting up at 5.
Oh, it's terrible.
They don't nap once they're past like 2 years old. That's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that part.
You didn't know that?
No, I always assumed kids nap.
Right.
They don't do it.
Do you nap?
No, I do. On today, I'm going to.
You nap? Well, no, you're not.
Tonight.
No.
Tonight when I go to, I call sleeping at night napping. It's weird.
Little pregame nap.
God bless football, Mikey A.
Whenever there's silence or he's uncomfortable, he just blurts out, God bless football.
The Dolphins are good. Let's go, baby.
God bless football, Chris Cote.
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Stugotz.